in the area of research and publication ethics. At the outset, I would like to welcome the chief patron of this capacity building, 2-week capacity building program, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma sir, who has been young and dynamic vice chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Central University. Sir, your presence is special for us, and it is indeed encouraging to move ahead in your leadership. I am glad to welcome the co-patron of this 2-week capacity building program, Professor G. Gopal Reddy sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Central University. Sir, your presence is always inspiring for us. I am taking this opportunity to welcome our chief guest of the function, Professor T.N. Singh sir, who is the Director of Indian Institute of Technology, Patna. Sir is amongst the 2% of the scientists in his own field as far as the new survey of the Stanford University has been released. I am thankful to him for accepting my humble request on a very short notice, and sir has been showering his blessings on us from since the inception of this university. I would like this great opportunity to welcome Professor S.K. Dubey sir, who is right now the Honorable Director of Institute of Management Studies of a very reputed university, Banaras Hindu University. Sir, thank you for showering your blessings in this 2-week capacity building program, and you have been so kind that whenever we request you, you always give your consent. Okay, I also welcome all the participants who have joined with us across the states of India, and one of our participant is also from West Indies, so it has attracted the you can say the foreign participant also. I hope all of you enjoy the sessions and will gain certain insights in the area of research and publication ethics. At last, I would like to welcome all the deans, heads, staff, faculty members in this program, and I am happy to see you all here. I hope we all would get certain benefits from this program. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, sir. Now, I will request my dear friend and fellow research scholar, Mr. Siddharth Ghosh, to share an overview of the 15 days capacity building program. Siddharth-ji, over to you.
Thank you, Chandanji. I'll now very briefly share my screen, and we'll cover in 5 minutes as to how we planned this whole event and who are the participants who have joined us for this session. So let me share my screen. So I hope my presentation is visible.
Yes, Siddharth, you
yes.
can move.
Yes.
Chandanji, is my presentation visible?
Yes, it is visible, Siddharth-ji.
Thank you, Chandanji. So we had planned this capacity building program for the young academicians as well as all those people who are into academia. And our strategy was simple, that we wanted to reach out to maximum number of young research scholars. So we planned to reach out to them from IITs, ISBs, ISFAIs. We also tried to reach them through emails to all those research scholars who are into central universities. We primarily target all those universities having Department of Management Studies, Commerce, Economics, or Computer Sciences. But it was not limited to these fields. We have research scholars and academicians who are from other fields as well. So we reached out through emails, and we have also tried to reach out to foreign universities and institutions as well. So our social media strategy was very simple. We tried to reach out to people through Facebook, through Twitter, through Telegram, and we had a strategy of reaching out to each state of India. So we targeted the institutions who are into the state capitals as well as the adjoining areas. So the cities targeted primarily were 45 plus those 25 satellite towns which are around these cities and 15 adjoining areas. And we are happy to share the facts and figures, like we had sent total emails of 17,800 plus, and we had a registration target began from 11th of October 2021 and it ended on 12th of November. And if I can go ahead with this presentation. So this is the breakup of the institution-wise registrations. We have 50% registrations from central universities, 18% from state universities, 15% from private universities, 10% from government institutions, 5% from private institutions, and 2% from foreign universities as well. 60% of our participants are research scholars, while 5% are MPhil scholars, 5% are associate professors, 20% are assistant professors, and 5% of guest faculties are also among the participants. And we have this composition of state-wise participants with us. So we have representation from Rajasthan, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Northern India of Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Bihar, West Bengal. So this is a small snippet of this whole capacity building program which we have planned. I will now close this presentation and let my colleague, Mr. Chandan Veer, to go ahead with this session. Thank you, Chandanji. I'll now stop this screen sharing.
Thank you, Siddharthji. Thank you for such a wonderful information. Thank you. Moving ahead, now I will request our today's guest of honor and keynote speaker, Professor Sujit Kumar Dubey, sir, Honorable Director, Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University, for sharing his valuable experiences, knowledge, and insight. But before that, it will be an honor if I could share a few words about sir. Dr. Sujit Kumar Dubey is BCom, MBA, PhD with a specialization in marketing. Sir, being a professor in the faculty, you have contributed several research papers, articles in national and international journals, and attended several national and international conferences, MDP, QIPs. Sir, you are also associated as a professor in Pokhara University, Nepal, and possesses rich experience of academic experience. Sir, you are lifetime member of IMA, ISTE, IAMA, and AIMS International. Sir, you are actively involved in training of corporate executives too. Sir, you have won Best Teachers in Retail Management Award of 20th Devang Mehta Business School Awards 2012. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Chandanji. Honorable Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma ji, Vice Chancellor Mahatma Gandhi Central University Motihari, Professor G. Gopal Reddy, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Mahatma Gandhi Central University Motihari, Honorable Chief Guest for the today's inaugural function, Professor T. N. Singh, Director Indian Institute of Technology, Patna. Course Coordinator, Professor Pavnesh Kumar, Dean, Pandit Madan Mohan Malvi School of Commerce and Management Sciences. Co-course coordinators, Dr. Sapna Sugandha, Dr. Alka Lalahal, organizing team, dear participants. At the outset, I am thankful to the organizing team and especially the Vice Chancellor of the university for giving me this opportunity to deliver my views and experience on the inaugural session of Capacity Building Program on the theme Research and Publication Ethics. Let me congratulate the organizing team for selecting a very apt and right theme or the topic, because it is demand of the day. At the same time, the policymakers of the government of India, they had also highlighted this thing in the NEP 2020. Now, to understand the capacity building program in the field of publication and ethics, it's important to understand what is capacity building. See, it's not very simple thing. When we are going for organizing such type of program through which we are having an objective to build the capacity of the research scholars or the professionals or the teachers who are involved in the research in a 10 to 15 days of program, it's not that simple. But in any way, these attempts are essential. Why these attempts are essential? Because the person will not only able to understand the limitation of an individual or the organization, but he or she will be also able to understand the strength of the individual and the strength of the organization. So when we talk about the capacity building, it involves both individual and the organizational learning. As a layman or as a researcher, if somebody wants to define capacity building, it is nothing but enhancing the ability of individuals, organization, system to undertake and disseminate high quality research effectively and efficiently. Now, if you go through with this particular statement, you will find that there are three things which is important. One, the individual. Second, the organizational. Third, the institutional. When we talk about the individual, we are talking about the development of the researchers or even the team through the training, through the scholarship, through the mentoring, or designing or undertaking the research, or writing a paper, or publishing a paper or the findings, even influencing the policymakers so that the things are going to be tailor-made and you are easily in position to undertake any kind of activity. Similarly, when we talk about the organization, it means developing the capacity of the research at the departmental level, at the university level, or developing the think tanks at the departmental level and the university level, so that it's not only the development of the research activity, but you have to procure the funding. You have to manage the funding also so that you can sustain in your own as a department or the university. And lastly, when we talk about the institutional, here we are talking about the changes which the institution is ready to adopt over a period of time, or redefining the rules of the game, or addressing the incentive structure or the political or the regulatory context, so that the resources which are necessary for the research to be undertaken, it must be floated, it must be facilitated to the research community very easily. Now, to say something, it's a very easy task. And when we go for the implementation of these activities, especially when it is something related to the research publication or the ethical publication, it is a very difficult task. To understand it, we need to understand that how we can proceed further, how an organization or the individual can proceed further for the capacity building, especially in the research. One by one, I would be highlighting the components, rather you can say the basic elements which are necessary for capacity building in the field of research. The first thing which is necessary, that is unleash the potential for capacity building. What does it mean? Most of the time we talk about the gaps which are there with the individual or the institution. No, it's not necessary always talk about the gaps or the limitation of the individual or the institution. It's better to build strength and develop the commitment. Go for developing your strength more and more so that you are going to minimize the impact of your limitation or the gap which is existing either at the institutional level or at the individual level. How it is possible? Take a very simple example. If you are not very good in statistical method, that is your limitation, that is the gap which is existing in your institution, or even there is no person who is very good in as far as the statistical method is concerned. But if you are conceptually very strong, you can hire the people from the different other places or different other universities and work on your own core competency, that is your conceptual framework. And that is very popular phenomena if you go to the Europe and America. Second, effective leadership is critical. When we talk about leadership, we are not talking about the person who is leading the institution. We are not talking about the person who is leading the university or the department. We are talking about a person who is involved in the research, and he or she has to take the leadership by adaptation. Adaptation here stands for you are necessary to be open to all the research activity which is coming out or which is flowing from any part of the world to you. Experimentation, learning, adjustment. If these qualities are not going to be there with the researcher, you will find at one point of time you are going to be stagnated, and you will not only going to be stagnated, but rather you can say that you will be outdated very soon. So you have to initiate, you have to take the leadership so that you can adopt the new things which is coming over there. At the same time, you have to involve yourself in the experimentation process so that your learning is going to be more and more. At the same time, you need to motivate the people who are there within the organization and create a kind of environment where more and more people are going to be associated with you. And that is only possible when you are going to have a kind of persistence or the commitment towards the research. So these two components are very, very specific in nature. But when we proceed further, we will find that there are certain things which is necessary for the publication and ethical adjustment or ethical values which are necessary to be there as a part of your research. Put more emphasis on understanding country context, regional context, local context by identifying appropriate partners and building relationship. Normally, this kind of activity was missing in the past. But in last 5 years of time, especially in India, you will find that the people have already initiated in this particular direction. Now, they are not restricting themselves to their own locality, their own region, their own country in terms of having an association with somebody who is working in the same field outside the region, outside the country. Secondly, you will find that the emphasis should be there on the local issues pertaining to your country. If you are going to do something related to the US or the Europe or even the Asian countries, you will find your acceptability in the market is going to be least, because the kind of data or the information or the primary information which is required, it's not necessary that every time you will get it. But if you are working on your local issues, regional issues, or even the country issues, you will find you can easily have the access of your data, access of the primary research, and the information which is necessary for conducting that particular research. So this is again a mantra for the success for the publication. And most of the time we borrow the topics, borrow the theme from the abroad and start working on that. And as a result, we are not able to give the best possible which is there from our side. Another important aspect is develop the capabilities or skills required to address the capacity issues. Now, here you will find that implication of capacity development is an important thing. Increase investment in that. Earlier, we were not involved in the process of increasing, or rather you can say no way we were interested in investing on the research as an individual. Now things have been changed. You need to invest. It's not only there that the financial investment is necessary, even the mental investment is required. Literature investment is required. And if you will continuously involve yourself in this particular process, you will find one day your in-depth cultural values or the information or the system is going to be very, very high. And at that stage, you can easily partner with the other countries. And that way, they will call you, they will invite you to do a research along with them. And as a result, your acceptability in terms of publication is going to be huge. And people have already initiated. Another aspect of this investment is that nowadays there are certain things which requires financial investment. Financial investment here stands for there are certain tools, there are certain softwares, there are certain membership which you need to go for it, and that is only possible by depositing or submitting a lump sum amount as a fee. And that way, your acceptability for the publication is going to be very, very high, because they will not only involve you in a learning process, but they will guide you how to proceed further for writing a good paper or presenting your thoughts in a way that it is going to be acceptable by a publication house. So these investment, we can't say that it has become necessary, but it has become relevant over a period of time, and people are doing or people are investing in that way, and they are coming out with the best publication. Another important aspect is ensuring full ownership. Full ownership here stands for local ownership of any externally driven capacity building. Quality of the research is necessary, and it can be only possible when the whole efforts are being done by an individual. Then only you can go for ownership of that particular research. Secondly, if you are there as a researcher, you need to accept the reality that whatever you are writing, whatever findings you are presenting, whatever inferences you are drawing, you own those inferences, you own those findings. Normally what happens that people have learned a different kind of practices, that language wise most of the people, they are good. As a result, they frame the sentence in a way that though it is something which is borrowed, but they framed it in a different way and write their own name. So ownership is there, but actually, truly speaking, that ownership doesn't belong to you. It is already published paper. So that is something which is unethical practice, you can say, and don't indulge yourself in that particular process. So again, important aspect is whatever you are writing, you must own that, and ownership only comes when it is something which is being done by an individual or the group or the team itself. Another important aspect is develop an enabling environment. And this is something which is the responsibility of the institution or the organization or the department. How it can be done? Examine the incentives, constraints, influencing the production of high quality research, or even by the policymaker. And this is something which is lacking in especially the universities and the departments of government enterprises. All those autonomous institutions nowadays, they have created a kind of environment that if you are going to publish a Scopus paper, you will be getting a lump sum amount as an incentive for publishing a good paper in a good journal. We don't have such kind of practices, though we can go for it, but as per the policy of the university, we can't go for it. And this is something which is very, very common practice. If you go to the IIMs, if you go to the IITs, you will find that they are giving the incentive for the good publication. So automatically the person is going to be motivated towards the quality research. You can't go for something that you have to request, you have to order, you have to come out with the notification that it is something which is essential. If there is an incentive, people will go for it, either in terms of financial incentives or in terms of the promotional incentives. If you are able to create that kind of environment, you are easily in position to motivate the people towards the quality research. Another important aspect is that this learning is not only restricted or limited to the individual. Your institution as a research center can be developed, and that can be developed by facilitating the different ecosystem, different required softwares, different required tools or the technique at your end, so that whatever is required for the researcher is available. And this is again something which is being done by the autonomous institution or even some of the big private universities. They are creating that kind of facilities, and through which people can easily come out with the kind of publication which can be acceptable in a good journal. Now, take a very simple example. There are some of the universities which are following the old software of anti-plagiarism, and when they are sending their paper through that anti-plagiarism software, it gives a result somewhere around 4 to 5%. And when it is being sent to the publication, the publishers, they used to say that it is having a 20% or 18% or 17% of anti-plagiarism. Now, the problem is not there at the end of a researcher. The problem is there at the end of the institution through which the person has gone through with the anti-plagiarism software, which is outdated. Now, this can be checked by facilitating the researcher by providing a latest software. That's why I have said at the very beginning that you need to understand that the capacity building cannot be there in isolation for the individual. Capacity building is essential for both, that is the learners, that is the individual and the institution. Then only you will find that there will be a synergy between these two, and you can come out with the ethically right paper for the publication. There are certain issues which one has to take care when you are there in the process of publication, and these are highlighted every time, several times it is being talked by the different experts. But the only thing which is necessary, that if you are ready to own your publication in terms of a primary work, in terms of your own inferences, in terms of your own finding, in terms of your own conclusion, you are going to be acceptable in the market later or sooner. Now, why I have used this word later or sooner? In the case of publication, those who are continuously involved, they are only going to be successful. Reason is that slowly and gradually, you are going to learn how to present a paper. And with the review of the publishers, you will learn that where you are having a limitation, what you need to write in a different way, how to present it. And once you will go through with the 3-4 publications review, you will find you will be the best person to write a good paper for the publication. So don't hesitate in writing. Don't hesitate involving yourself in the research. The more you will involve, the more review or the critics you are going to handle, the more correction you are going to present before the publisher, you are going to be stronger every day, and a day will come when you are going to be a good researcher. This is all that I would like to share. And once again, I'm thankful to the organizing team for giving this particular opportunity. And I'm hopeful that in coming 15 days, all the participants are going to have a very interactive session, and they are going to overcome with the limitation of their, at the same time, they will learn certain things which are going to sharpen their strength so that they will be a good researcher in their respective institution. Namaskar. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words and insights. Sir, you talked about the mantra for publications, the key qualities of a researcher. You also talked about the mental investment, and the capacity building is not only for the individual as well as for the institutions also. Thanks a lot, sir. Now, moving ahead, now I will request our guest of honor, Professor Dr. T.N. Singh, sir, Honorable Director, IIT Patna, for sharing his valuable views, insights, and vast academic experience. But before that, please allow me to share a few accolades about our next speaker. Professor Dr. T.N. Singh, sir, is PhD from Banaras Hindu University. Sir, you are currently the director of IIT Patna. Sir, you are former Vice Chancellor, Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth, Varanasi, and Independent Director, HPCL. Sir, you have served as a professor in IIT Bombay for more than a decade. You have earned several awards and honors. Few of them are the John C. Gammon Prize, Institute of Engineers, India 2017, ISR MTT Contribution to Rock Mechanics Awards 2017, and many more. Sir, you are lifetime member of several associations like Society for Engineering Geology, International Society of Rock Mechanics, and many more. Sir, your area of interest is rock mechanics, engineering, geology, waste dump, and rock environment. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I am audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Bihar, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, Pro Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Professor G. Gopal Reddy. Today, the function guest of honor, Professor S.K. Dubey, Director, Institute of Management Study, Banaras Hindu University. Professor Pawnesh Kumar, Dean, School of Commerce and Management Science, Mahatma Gandhi Central University. The coordinator of the course, Dr. Alka, and the course co-coordinator, Dr. Sapna, faculty members, distinguished friends from the different universities, institutions across the border. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to explain few things about this 2 weeks human capacity building on research and publication ethics, which is very, very relevant. And many of the issues have been already explained by Dr. Dubey. I think once we have the 3 terms, the human capacity building, research, and publication ethics. These are the 3 triangles which can decide the achievement one can achieve in their academic life. You know, the research is the root of excellence in academic, and also it will be the oxygen for the growth of an academic institution. One can differentiate by these research and publications way to how an institution is good or a bad, how a researcher will be considered as a excellent or outstanding or good or bad. So ingredient of high quality research is always depends on its originality, efficacy, cost effectiveness, and easier process which can create a technology aimed at the solving the problem faced by the society and humanity. So once you are deciding your goal for the research, you should always consider these aspects. The quality publication is the scale of that quantify the research outcome in terms of the published paper in high impact reviewed journals, patents, and product development with potential to transform the economy. Once I discuss with the quality research, then it all depends upon the honesty, integrity, and reproducibility of any of the research. If it doesn't contain, then you might have missing some link of your ethics. Ethics is a protocol, and it varies from one science to the other science, one discipline to the other discipline. The ethics may be, which will be useful to follow in the humanities, may not be good for the science, and if good in science, it may not be good for the technology transformation. So there is a various way and means by which one can define the ethics. But ethics is simply related to the honesty of the data reproduction, how you are taking the data, whether it is a good data or bad data. Because the whole concept of the research is data driven these days. And all the decisions which one should take in the national level will all depend upon the data driven technology. And that is the reason why every field of the science and technology and humanity or management, everybody is talking about the AI and IoT. I'm surprised that even the ministers and the politicians are also talking about these things because it is so important for the social reform of the system. So research, first thing you have to identify your objective. And once you are defining the objective, it needs a lot of homework and groundwork to decide what should be the gap in the knowledge on the existing domain, whether you are going to create a certain question out of that. If you are able to create a few questions which needs to be resolved, which needs to be solved, then I think your half of the work will be over. So finding a good questions, outstanding questions is very, very important in the research. And a student should always look for some very good questions which can be transfer his research in a good quality or the bad quality. So formation of the question is a very, very critical, and this needs not a, you can say, the easy task, because your whole concept of the research is based on that. Maybe yesterday, what will be the question? It may not be today a good question to take up as a science or in the technology to resolve that issue, or even in the management, because the things are changing very dynamically, very aggressively, and you can say within short span of time, even the changing the technology from one platform to another platform. Earlier, it was very difficult to get the, you can say, the publication from the outside of India. It takes a lot of time and a lot of pain to get the reprints because they are not available. Even it is available, maybe on the mercy of the writer, or you can say the publisher or the researcher. Some of them are very kind enough to say it because it is a costly affair. Now, there is no need to ask to anybody whether he wants to share his of research paper or not, you can always having your own tip, and you can take this advantage of getting the review of, you can say, the literature. Now, earlier, 30 years, 40 years back, the research scholar spent a lot of time to literature review in the library and putting his head on the literatures and find out what are the literature relevant based on the abstract volumes available in the library. Now, hardly anybody is going for that methodology and that tools or technique. Now that has been changed. Now you have every day you can review and add on the value about the researchers. So second thing is the methodology, the methods which you are going to adopt, whether it is a foolproof method, it is a protocol which is accepted on the arena of the science and technology, or even in management. It has certain value, it has certain authentication, and if you have the authentication, then whether your data has accessible, affordable, adoptable by others or not, to cross-check your result. Now there is a pressure on the faculty members for publishing in a very rapid way because of pressure created by a different agency to evaluate their performance, like the UGC or the other institutions also. And your all performance as faculty and research is all based on your publication. So publication is centered, I can say, in the ethical value or capacity building. If you are a good researcher, your hypothesis is good, but if it has not been published, then I think nobody will going to accept your idea. Nobody will going to accept your any research proposal also. So keep in the mind, particularly the young researchers, that once you want to go for the research, you have to find out a very good questions. And these questions followed by a certain protocol of, you can see, the methodology. The methodology should be foolproof, having no any duplication. Thirdly, then coming to the analysis part, it may be your experiment, you may be the methodology contains data collection and analysis like water statics and other things. Mostly in management people are doing using a lot of statistics. But there's a lot of, you can say this, you have a mathematical tools you can use, and you can see these tools having the what is the level of the error, and if this error level is acceptable, then your publication will be going to be the acceptable. Third will be these results which you are getting, how well it can be reproducible by others. Whether the data is good or bad, that you have to decide. Don't segregate the data which is acceptable to your core and others are not. That will be not. Even no data is good or bad. Every data contains the information, and that information is translated into some kind of the conclusion, whether the conclusion is accepted or rejected. So that will be the things. So every data has its own importance, and this data can be taken into account, but not the fitting the curve. The things which are coming on your line will be acceptable, and which are coming away from your line, then if you are going to reject, so that will not give you some new kind of this information. So what is odds number which are coming in your research, that critically you can find and understand that why it is coming away from you by the normal trend line. Maybe that will be the new information, and it leads to a new kind of the thinking and interpretation of the methodology. Then coming for the discussion, you have to discuss your results on the established frame of work, and then you can give some kind of the similarity or dissimilarity with your findings at the international level. That will be also very, very important. And then coming for the deliverable at the end of the conclusion part. So you have to have all these components in your publication. Publishing in good journal or bad journal, it is all depend upon the moral and the level of your standard of your paper. I wish to publish in a high level journal, but my content of this material is not high. Then people will not accept my name, because the process of review is the blind review, where the author's name has been now removed by almost all good journals. And even a reviewer cannot guess to whose paper who is reviewing, maybe from your departmental colleague, but you cannot guess it because the name is not there. Acknowledgements has been removed. So very impartial way this review process is going on. And even this, not the one review, the good journals have the 3 to 4 reviewers, moderate one having 2, but not less than 2 reviewers. Positive results can lead to the, you can say, the acceptance of your paper. Hardly people are getting accepted as what you have to send it. So it has to go for the certain way of the review. And sometimes the reviewer remarks are very, very commendable, very, very acceptable, and very, very innovative also, which metamorphose all your content in a such a way that after going through all modification, you will find that your paper has such a good quality that you love to read again and again, and it has more acceptability in the scientific arena, and it has the more citation by others because it has a certain content and certain quality of this material. So quality and quantity, both things are very, very important. One should not think that I will publish only one paper in my whole life having the good quality. That will be not also the purpose, and then you will be behind the race or far away from the, you can say this, the people who are on the first or second level. So both is required equally. So those who are publishing in more number, there is nothing one should think that they are infuriating in the second level of things or doing something wrong. No, because they are sending the papers in the different journals, and these journals are reviewing their process. So review process is almost fair. So that review process should be followed, and after that, one should go ahead for the publication mode. So these things one should take into account, and then only you can go for the. Now there are different yardsticks of the publication. That is the one is the citation, which is very, very important. There is a Google citation, which takes care of your own self-citation plus total citation. Scopus always reduce and remove your self-citation and give you the exact number of the areas, means who had cited your paper, which regions they have cited your paper. So that is another aspect. One is another page fact, hygiene fact. So what is your hygiene fact? That will be also giving some credential about the quality of the research and the quality of the research of a researcher in the long way. And at the international level, there are different agencies which demarcate that if your H index is half of your age, then you should be considered as the outstanding scientist. So that will be the way. There is a number of citation as well as the H index. Then I-10 index is also the third aspect, people say. That will be also how many people have quoted your paper more than 10 or 10 times. So these are the things which one can see in the quality. But you cannot get all these things until unless you have a good quality of. And good quality of publication cannot come without the ethical and moral value of anything. So these are the things which one should consider, and then only you can go ahead with your work. I think this research ethics is mostly, if I can conclude, is the honesty, objectivity, integrity, carefulness, openness, and respect of intellectual property, confidentiality, responsible publication, responsible monitoring and respect of the colleague, social responsibility, not discrimination, and competence, legality, If you are in the bioscience, then you can take the animal care and human subject protective. So these are the, you can say, there are very many guidelines for other things. There are many code and conduct has been written. About the third thing I come at the end at about the plagiarism. As the number is increasing, plagiarism numbers are also increasing. And this is not in the India and the worldwide. And many reputed people are also come under that as scanner, and that is all things are available. Sometimes the self-plagiarism, the paper, one paper has published in 2-3 places without changing this comma and full stop. Second thing, the same content has been taken from many places. Third, you have copied from somebody other's content and trying to, without referring them, you are putting that as it is a or original idea and thoughts. Fourth, which is very common, is playing with the photographs or the some kind of the findings of others, making in the Photoshop, changing the content, changing the graph little bit, changing the color code, but this core idea or central idea will remain same. So these are the things where people have been punished. You know, the one scientist from this southern part of India, South East Asia, he has published one paper in 6 journals. So I think this good thing that it is a good for yourself as a good researcher or an honest researcher that you should avoid such plagiarism. UGC has given 10% or something more than less than 10% this similarity index, but this is not enough because maybe some journals go for only 5%. So I think the best way, why ethics is important, because you have to follow a certain code of conduct of the research, and the central idea is to get the things, every aspect in this normal way. So with these words, I must thank this organizer. Must thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity and express my view about what I understood about the research. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Thank you once and all.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for your valuable input, sir. So you talked about the importance of data carry. You talked about the honesty, integrity, carefulness, and you also talked about the advanced technology which has made the work easier for the researchers. You also talked about the innovative ideas. Thanks a lot, sir. Now, moving ahead, now I will request our Honorable Pro VC, sir, for his co-chairperson address. But before that, please allow me to have a brief introduction about sir. Professor G. Gopala Reddy, sir, is presently Pro Vice Chancellor, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, Bihar. Sir, you are the former member of UGC. Sir, you are presently member of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad Institute of Asian Studies, Ministry of Culture, Kolkata. You are the member, Board of Governance, Research Committee on Asia Pacific Studies, International Political Science Association, Canada, and Senior Research Fellow, ICSSR, New Delhi. You are the member of Advisory Committee, ICSSR. Sir, you have also been a Dean, Faculty of Arts and Social Science, Palamuru University, Telangana. As a professional body of Indian Political Science Teachers Members Executive Council, you are also the member of that. Over to you, sir. Sir.
Namaskar to everyone. Is I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Namaskar. Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma ji, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. Mahatma Gandhi Central University, Motihari, Bihar. Professor S.K. Dupe ji, Director, Institute of Management Sciences, Banaras Hindu University. Professor T.N. Singh ji, Director, IIT Patna. Professor Pavnesh ji, Dean, and faculty members, Alka Lalla, Sapna Sugandha, faculty members, research scholars, participants, and my dear friends. Really, it is a good opportunity for the young research scholars those who are seriously involved in the research activity, either to write for their PhD dissertation, project work, or writing for a paper. Really, we have two wonderful speakers earlier who spoke about the importance of the research, ethical values, what we have to follow, what is the importance of research, how research is looked by the outsiders about the institution and also individuals. Friends, if you go back to 30, 40 years back, there was no opportunity to interact with the other researchers, other faculty members, whether it is in a program or online programs. Of course, they were not there. Even in the offline programs, also there was no such programs organized by the institutions. This is a really a good opportunity for the faculty members to develop their capacity building in aspects of teaching as well as research. While doing research, what are the things you have to follow? While writing, collecting the data, reporting the data, writing report writing, all other things. What are the things you have to follow? What type of the procedure? That is what you will be knowing through this faculty development program, because this is focusing on research and integrity and ethics also. And University Grants Commission recently started plagiarism is a mandatory for the submission of the research thesis. Why it came into the being? Just think of it. Because we are not in a position to maintain the standards required for the research outputs which we are supposed to do. That is the reason plagiarism came into being. Friends, by attending such programs, you will be interacting with the fellow colleagues, researchers, research scholars, teachers, senior teachers, and also you are exposed to the many members of the faculty, those who are seriously involved in the research activity, so that you will be in a position to know what are the things you have to follow while doing the research activity. What are the various steps, whether it is at the time of data collection, data interpretation, and report writing, or any other stage. You will be knowing by interacting with all of them. That is this in a way, this program is a guidance for the researchers, those who are doing the research, and also a caution and what you shouldn't do. What are the do's and what you cannot do in the research activity, so that your research will be an objective one and your research will be respected. And whether it is an individual at the university level in the research centers, or at the university is known only with the research output of that particular individual and also faculty member involved with that particular university. That is the reason research plays an important aspect. We all know that NEP 2020 insisting more and more on the research aspects. In the university should involve in the research aspects, and they have categorized even the research institutions, teaching institutions like that. So research in the coming days going to play an important role, and this program will definitely help the young researchers, those who are actively involved in the research activity. And even Government of India, Honorable Prime Minister also accepted that allocating huge amounts for the research purposes. That is what the demand was going on since so many years. 20,000 crores were earmarked for the research in this country. That is really an appreciable thing. And the Honorable Prime Minister is in toto, he wanted to implement the National Education Policy 2020. In the coming days, teachers will have to play an important role, and such programs either by the academic staff college or the universities under the Madan Mohan Malviya program or any other program, capacity building programs are very, very important. I congratulate Professor Pavaneji and his team, Alka Lalla, Swapna Sugandha, and the entire team of the Department of Management, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, for taking up such a program. Till yesterday, we were under the Chhat Puja Diwali vacation, and immediately on the reopening, and Pavaneji took up the program and he initiated. Really congratulate you. And all the participants, those who joined from the more than 12 states of the country and 60 participants, I request all of you, though it is an online program, and seriously actively participate in this program, and this will definitely help you in the coming days for furthering your academic inputs and also seriously involving the research activity. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, Pavaneji, and congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for motivating us so that we can excel more in our academic fields. Thanks a lot, sir. Now, moving ahead, I will request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, sir, for his presidential address. But before that, Sir, please allow me to have a brief introduction
No,
about
Chandan,
you.
not required. Chandan, not required. Thank you. That's not required. Okay, I'm thankful. मैं सबसे पहले ये कहूँगा परमेश जी से कि जितने हमारे ये 46-47 पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, देखिए अब हमारे दुबे जी दिखाई पड़ रहे हैं, सब लोग एक बार वीडियो तो ऑन करें, ऐसा लगे तो कि हम लोग किसी से बात कर रहे हैं। ये लैपटॉप पे बैठ के मैं बोलूँ, डेस्कटॉप पे बोलूँ, ऐसा लग रहा है मैं अपने आप से बोल रहा हूँ। रेड्डी साहब का माइक ऑफ करा दीजिए।
I will request all honorable participants to please switch on their camera.
तो लगे कि ये कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग हो रही है, अभी तो कैपेसिटी पता ही नहीं चल रही है। एनीवे, इस कार्यक्रम में विशिष्ट रूप से पधारे हुए मेरे अत्यंत आदरणीय प्रोफेसर टीएन सिंह जी, मेरे मित्र प्रोफेसर एसके दुबे जी, इस विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय प्रतिकुलपति प्रोफेसर जी गोपाल रेड्डी जी, प्रोफेसर पवनेश और उनकी पूरी टीम, विभाग के सभी शिक्षक साथियों, और इस कार्यक्रम से विभिन्न स्थानों से आभासी माध्यम से जुड़े हुए मित्रों, मैं सबसे पहले प्रोफेसर पवनेश को इस बात के लिए बधाई देता हूं कि इस छठ के तुरंत बाद, जैसा उल्लेख अभी रेड्डी साहब ने किया, छठ महापर्व के तुरंत बाद इन्होंने एक अच्छा बड़ा कार्यक्रम किया, और मैं इस बात के लिए भी उन्हें बधाई देता हूं कि इस कार्यक्रम का संपूर्ण संचालन, सब व्यवस्था उन्होंने अपने शोधार्थियों को दी है। शोधार्थियों की कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग मूल रूप में है, इसमें शिक्षक भी कुछ जुड़े हुए हैं, शोधार्थियों के हाथ में कार्यक्रम है, और ये अच्छा संकेत है। मैं चाहूंगा कि ये शोधार्थी प्रतिदिन के कार्यक्रम की रिपोर्ट भी यही बनाए, अंतिम दिन उसकी रिपोर्ट भी यही प्रस्तुत करें। पवनेश जी बड़े ऑर्गेनाइजर है, तो ऐसा मुझे लगता है कि इसको एक प्रिंटेड फॉर्म में, ई फॉर्म में भी यदि आप कर लेंगे तो बाकी लोगों के भी काम आएगा। प्रोफेसर दुबे और प्रोफेसर टीएन सिंह ने विषय के गंभीर तकनीकी पक्ष को बहुत विस्तार से और बहुत सूक्ष्म रूप से हमारे सामने, सबके सामने प्रस्तुत किया है। मैं आज बहुत लंबा बोलने की स्थिति में नहीं हूँ, मुझे कोई यात्रा करनी है, लेकिन एक बार पुनः आप सबको, और मुझे इस बात की भी प्रसन्नता है कि बहुत सारे देशों से, बहुत सारे राज्यों से पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, अलग अलग दायित्वों वाले हैं, आप सबको बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं, और इस कार्यक्रम की सफलता के लिए ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करता हूं। सभी विद्यार्थियों को आशीर्वाद। नमस्कार।
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. Your words always motivate us. Thanks a lot, sir. Now, moving ahead, I will request our Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Sapna Sugandha, ma'am, for a vote of thanks. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Chandan. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Very good morning to one and all present here. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, all the dignitaries joined through virtual mode, all the heads, deans, administrative officers, faculty members, and the participants. I deem it a great honor and privilege to have been asked for the words of appreciation on behalf of the organizing team of this inaugural session of Capacity Building Program. I start my words of gratitude by giving glory to the Almighty God for making this session a success. Now extend my very hearty thanks to the chairperson of this session, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Sharma, sir, who had highlighted the directions to us for going ahead to do our best, which finally resulted into successful conduct of this session. Sir, your encouragement and your unique leadership made us to convert this event in a success. We are really humbled by your gracious presence, sir. Thank you so much. I would also like to take the opportunity to express my hearty thanks to the co-chairperson of this session, Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor G. Gopal Reddy, sir, for being with us. We are really honored by your gracious presence, sir. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to extend my generous thanks to our guest of honor, Professor P.N. Singh, Honorable Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Patna, and keynote speaker, Professor Sujit Kumar Dubey, Honorable Director, Institute of Management Studies, Banaras Hindu University, for sharing their knowledge and vast experience, and also for sparing their valuable time to grace this occasion. Thank you so much, sirs, for accepting our invitation. I'm also very grateful to Professor Pavnesh Kumar, Dean Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya School of Commerce and Management Studies, Sciences, Mahatma Gandhi Central University, for his dedicated actions and appreciating involvement to make this session successful. I'm thankful to all the deans, heads, administrative officers, staffs, and faculties for their support and presence. I'm thankful to our research scholars Siddharth Ghosh and Chandan Veer from the Department of Management Sciences for coordinating this session in a very nice manner. Thank you so much, our research scholars. I'm also thankful to the media person for coverage of this program. This program could not be completed successfully alone. So I want to thank one and all, said and unsaid one, who supported us in making it a success. Once again, I'm thankful to all for your kind attention. Thank you so much. Over to you, Chandan.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I will request our honorable dignitaries and dear participants to please rise in the respect of our national anthem. Thank you.
Chandanji, please give the information that all the information related to the sessions will be shared in the WhatsApp group which has been created for the capacity building program. So I request all the participants to regularly see their WhatsApp group which has been created for this purpose. All the information will be shared there. Thank you to one and all.
Thank you, sir. And the link for our evening session and the further 15-day sessions will be shared in the group also, as well as it will be sent on your respective email IDs. Thank you, sir. Sir,
Once again, with the permission of the chair, we may now close the session.
yes, sir.
Go ahead with Pavnesh.
Okay. Chandanji,
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to one and all.
Wish you all the best, Pavnesh.
Thank you so much, sir.
For the entire program will be successful.
Now I can request you all may leave, and I hope you will all gain some insights on the topic.